What would you do if you found out your own daughter was plotting to steal your inheritance? It's a betrayal no one saw coming. Claire thought her life was on track, but when a man enters the picture, things quickly spiral into deception. Her daughter's plan to rob her blind is revealed in the most shocking way. Watch how Claire flips the script, turning the tables on her betrayers with a revenge plan so satisfying, it'll have you on the edge of your seat. Have you ever felt like you were just a shadow in your own family, quietly doing everything without being seen? I was in that exact position, until one moment changed everything. Before we dive into this journey, if this story resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support not only helps me share more stories like this, but also ensures that no one ever feels invisible. Let's get into it. I spent a little extra time choosing my outfit that morning. A navy dress, the one Robert always said made my eyes pop, and took a taxi to the marina. When I saw the yacht, it took my breath away. The boat was a magnificent 42-foot marvel, likely worth more than most people's homes. David greeted me at the dock with an embrace that felt more for show than sincere, while Vanessa stood on deck, her smile as sharp as glass. "Isn't it beautiful?" David said, gesturing to the yacht. "We're thinking of taking her to the Caribbean next month." He didn't mention that the yacht was paired with my grandmother's pearls, just enough to project dignity without looking pitiful. My hair was styled at Martha's salon. Nothing too extravagant, just neat enough to avoid drawing attention at my daughter's wedding. The day before their wedding, when I should have been enjoying the final preparations with excitement, Amanda looked me in the eye and said those words, "The best gift you could give us is to disappear from our lives." Why had they left these items behind? Was Sarah hiding something? Sylvia found herself caught between wanting to let it go and needing to understand what was really happening. But as she folded the clothes, the questions swirled around in her mind. What was her place in this family? And more importantly, what was she being asked to do here? Sarah and Joan returned later that afternoon, laughing and chatting about their spa day. Sarah greeted Sylvia with her usual bright smile, but there was something different this time. Sylvia noticed the glance that passed between Sarah and Joan as they entered the house. "Thanks for handling the laundry, Mom," Sarah said with a bit too much cheer in her voice. "We really needed that break." Sarah's face froze for a split second before she quickly recovered. "Oh, those must be from the spa," she said with a shrug. "I bought a few things while we were there. Nothing to worry about." Sylvia felt a small twinge of discomfort. The way Sarah had brushed off the comment made it seem as though it wasn't important. But it was important to Sylvia. The question nagged at her. Why had Sarah been so secretive? Later that evening, Sylvia ruining everything. "I had spent months planning this wedding. I had given them everything they wanted. And this was how I was treated." I stood there, trying to keep my composure, to keep the calm that had taken over. But inside, I was seething. I wasn't going to beg them. I wasn't going to beg for my place in their life anymore. "You're right," I said, my voice softer than it had ever been. For a moment, Sarah stood frozen, her face a mixture of shock and guilt. "Mom, I didn't mean to make you feel like that. I didn't know how to tell you," Sarah said, her voice faltering. Sylvia's heart pounded in her chest. "Tell me what?" Sarah hesitated, then sighed. "I've been struggling lately. I didn't want you to know, but I've been going through some financial trouble, and I've been hiding things from you. The clothes, the new things, they were..." I paused, in front of Robert's picture on the nightstand, and 43 years of marriage, and he had never once made me feel unwanted in my own home. I whispered to his image, "Don't worry, sweetheart, I'm not going down without a fight." And that's when I made the call. I dialed my lawyer, Margaret. Margaret had been handling all of Robert's affairs, and she had warned me about this exact scenario. Amanda's spending, Michael's disregard for boundaries. She had warned me that they would eventually turn on me.
A dazzling grin for the obviously wealthy guests. Polite interest for the useful ones. And complete indifference for anyone who looked like they might ask for favors instead of offerings. Opportunities.
In the midst of my growing despair, I met Ruby, a young nurse who was filling in that day. She looked at me like I wasn't just another old woman, but someone who still had a spark. We started talking, and for the first time in days I felt heard. Ruby shared something with me, I didn't scream, I didn't jump up in excitement. Instead, a chill ran through me. I had been erased. Brandon had tried to erase me. But now, I held something more powerful than he could ever take from me: freedom. I contacted Ruby, and with her help, I managed to connect with a volunteer lawyer. We set things in motion quickly. A blind trust, new financial arrangements, and the beginnings of a life I would reclaim. I was no longer the woman left in a nursing home to fade away. I was getting my life back. Within weeks, I had a new identity, a new address, and the security I had long been denied. But I didn't leave without a plan. I sent evidence of Brandon's actions